I still hear the screams. Even after all these years, they echo in my head when the nights are too quiet. It happened in Oko, a village surrounded by thick forest. A place where everyone knew everyone, and where secrets should have been impossible to keep. But Chief Aduke had one, a dark secret that thrived on fear and silence. I was 16 when I first saw it with my own eyes. It's a memory that never leaves me. The beginning of fear. Chief Aduke wasn't like the chiefs we read about in tales of honor and wisdom. He was a man of power, yes, but his power came from terror. Every family in Oko owed him something, money, livestock, or labor. If you didn't pay on time, you'd find yourself in the village square, humiliated. Some said they saw the chief whispering with the forest at night, his eyes glowing like a predator's. But no one spoke against him. Not openly. Not until Olumide disappeared. Olumide was my friend. We had grown up together, running through the cassava fields and swimming in the streams. But one evening, as the sun dipped low, he went to deliver a basket of yams to the chief's palace. He never came back. The disappearances. Olumide wasn't the first. Or the last. Every few months, someone in the village would vanish. A young man. A widow. A child. Each time, the chief would gather us in the square, shaking his head in fake sadness. The forest spirits are angry, he would say. They take what they want. The elders warned us not to question it. The chief knows how to keep the spirits calm, they whispered. He protects us. But I didn't believe them. The midnight visit. One night, I heard my father arguing with someone. I peeked through the bamboo wall of our hut and saw him standing with Chief Aduke. My father's voice shook as he begged. Please, my daughter is all I have left. Take the goat instead. The chief laughed, a sound so cold it made the hairs on my neck stand up. The spirits have spoken, he said. Prepare her by tomorrow night. I didn't understand at first. But when my father turned and saw me listening, his face crumbled. Run, Amara, he whispered. Run and don't look back. They escape. I ran into the forest, my heart pounding louder than my footsteps. I didn't know where I was going, only that I had to get away. The trees seemed to close in around me, their shadows long and menacing. Then I saw it. A clearing lit by moonlight. In the center stood a stone altar, stained dark with something I dared not think about. Surrounding it were bones, human bones. I hid behind a tree, shaking, as I watched figures emerge from the shadows. Chief Aduke was among them, dressed in robes I had never seen before. He raised a knife, chanting words I couldn't understand. And then I saw Olumide. He was alive, but barely. His hands and feet were tied, and his eyes were wide with terror. The confrontation. I don't know where the courage came from, but I grabbed a rock and threw it as hard as I could. It hit the chief's hand, knocking the knife away. He roared in anger as I ran to Olumide, cutting his bonds with a shard of glass I found nearby. The other men hesitated. They weren't as fearless as their leader. With Olumide leaning on me, we stumbled back into the forest. The chief didn't follow us, but his voice did. You can't run from the spirits, Amara. They will find you. The truth exposed. When we returned to the village, Olumide and I told everyone what we had seen. At first, they didn't believe us. But when we led them to the clearing and they saw the altar and the bones, their silence turned to rage. The people stormed the chief's palace, dragging him out into the square. His cries for mercy fell on deaf ears. He was cast out of Oko, banished to the very forest he had used to control us. The lesson. The village changed after that. We learned to stand together, to question the things that didn't feel right. Fear loses its power when it is met with truth and unity. Now, I tell this story not to frighten, but to remind. Power can corrupt, but it is only as strong as the silence of those who allow it. Lesson: fear thrives in silence, but courage can break even the darkest chains.